Hello, beautiful. My name is Jessica Angelari, and welcome to my channel where I speak about all things related to the feminine, sensuality, and love. And I want to speak to something that has been on my mind for a while now. And I feel like it's just so important. Something that I've been noticing a lot, especially on social media. I've noticed a lot of male teachers, spiritual teachers that I love, that who I love that men are speaking more to these topics around spirituality and awakening and healing. But what I'm noticing is that a lot of them are speaking to us women about the feminine, how to be more feminine. And what I've also noticed is that a lot of us women are allowing men to speak to us about how to be a woman, about how to be feminine. And we're listening to them more than I feel, more than we are maybe listening to teachers out there who are women and who are really passionate about this work. I've been noticing a lot of men speaking to women about the feminine and the polarity of women and men and the feminine and masculine. I love that men are speaking about this and about the polarity and relationships, and it's always refreshing to receive the perspective from a man. And it really brings in this new breath of fresh air into the healing world. And I think it's really important. The man's voice is very important, but we are still receiving their perspective about the feminine, and it's just not sitting well for me. So I was just really feeling called to come and speak to this and give my own perspective on this as someone who feels passionately about sharing this wisdom, this ancient wisdom of the feminine. And this is really my own passion for it, and guiding women in this work is because of my own suppression with my own feminine. And no one else really gets this but us women, right? So if men out there are speaking to women about how to be more feminine and we are relying on it, this just doesn't sit well with me. And I'm noticing that we're still idolizing men's words. This has been happening for so long. And I've been feeling collectively as well that women are still being triggered by other women's expressions and their own truth. And of course, I'm not speaking to all women. And if that is not true for you, then I'm celebrating you and I'm absolutely honoring you. But if you are feeling triggered, I am saying this as well from my own pure intention and my heart of just not to shame you for this or to judge you. This is always to bring a sense of acknowledgement and attention into our consciousness about this, and how this trigger or the trigger that we feel from other women, this is deeply embedded in ourselves as women. For centuries, we have felt triggered by other women's truths. And I speak about this in my group program, Feminine Remembrance Come Home to Yourself, because I do feel like it is so important in this pathway of self-reclamation. Usually we feel triggered by another woman and her voice and her expression, and we may feel like we feel more comfortable around men. And that's usually because we have maybe not claimed our own truth in our feminine wisdom. Maybe we haven't claimed our own voice. We have felt the pain and we have felt the abandonment by other women. And we're still feeling this on a collective level, even if you feel like you haven't been abandoned by other women. And if you haven't, you are so lucky. You are one of those lucky women. But we all feel this on an energetic level, collective level. It sits deep in our cells as women. So it's really important to acknowledge this and dive into the depths of our unconscious and notice where we are still feeling triggered by other women who may be sharing their voice and their truth. Where are we still shaming other women who are in their power, who are successful, who are speaking in a way that maybe hasn't been accepted in this society? Where are we still prioritizing men's perspective and truth over women? Now, because this society really has prioritized logic and the voice of men over the voice of women's, it feels much more normal and natural to receive the truth from men, to receive their perspective. As I said, this is in no way to judge men or to devalue men. I love men. I love their voice. I respect what they bring. I respect how they view life and how they view the world, and how they are able to see things with a different lens. And that's the thing, they do come with a different lens, and how they see things from in logic, with logic. I'm not saying that women don't either, but these aspects of the expression is usually what this society values and prioritizes. It makes sense, even when we're speaking about something that's not logical. And I love that this is an expression of some, and I love that this is usually a man's expression. This is one of the things that I love about them. But for some women, or most women, this is not usually how we truly, authentically express ourselves and come to know ourselves. And this is why we need to start noticing, where am I really prioritizing or valuing a man's voice about the feminine more than other women out there who have been through certain things, who have been through menopause, who have been through menstruation, who have been through a pregnancy, motherhood, even owning a business as a woman. All of these different initiations is so special to us as women. This is what makes us unique. For women, we feel more, if we don't know this yet, but we can feel more in our feminine essence, in our flow, when we communicate deep from our root, deep from our womb space. When we speak from even the yoni, we speak from that space that has no logic, that isn't rational like the mind. Right? This is our power as women. So we need to own this, and we need to really feel this from other women. The feminine is energy after all. So the feminine speaks in a way that sometimes isn't logical. She speaks from this moving emotional energy. And this usually comes deep from our root, from our womb. And this is not something that men can speak to. And so, to really speak about the feminine, we have to really honor the voice within us that has no logic, that has no real sense. It comes through us with resonance. When we're sitting in circle together with other women, sharing, laughing, crying, connecting, and we feel something together on a deeper cellular level, and sometimes we just can't even explain what that is. But because in this modern society we still only value and prioritize intellect and sense and knowledge as power. Knowledge, we hear that all the time. Knowledge is power. But the knowledge and the wisdom of your womb is power also. And so we don't really value this power, this wisdom that speaks in different ways through us. A man cannot communicate this in the world. He doesn't have a womb, and I'm glad he doesn't. We do require men to think logically and rationally, and I'm glad that they have that gift. Not that we don't, but there is something really magical that happens when we start to really honor this voice that is from the womb. And it can be irrational, it can be messy, it can sometimes come to us in shapes or sounds or voice or knowings or movement, and we can speak about something and know we are really feeling this thing, and it doesn't have sense to it, we just know. Now, also, when I'm saying this about the womb, if you are a woman and you no longer have your uterus or your womb space, please know that the energy of her is still very much alive within you. I just wanted to point that out. And so, because this way, this feminine expression is not usually valued and it is undermined, we have felt less than. We have felt like our voice doesn't matter. We have felt maybe there is no evidence backing up what we may be feeling. It's maybe not structured enough. And all of these limited, false ideas about our own expression, this has been happening for centuries. The feminine voice from women has been in hiding. And the voice of the woman is usually always connected, as I said, to the womb and also her heart when she's really standing in her power. And I also say we because I know I have been part of this equation. I would carry all of these notions and ideas that my voice wasn't right. And I tried so hard to not only be heard by men, but also I tried so hard to speak in a way that was more aggressive or assertive and in a way that maybe was argumentative. And honestly, and it just never felt right for me. It never felt true for me. It felt exhausting to be in this space all the time because I wasn't in my truth. I was speaking or trying to speak from my mind and trying to find ways to prove myself or prove why I'm feeling a certain feeling or why I had a certain intuitive feeling within me. And because men would usually, in the past, put me down for it or didn't listen to me. And so I just felt less than or weak. And yes, I would give more priority to a man's voice because it made sense. It was just beautifully structured. And as I said, I'm not saying that we don't have this within us, but usually the feminine speaks to us that isn't from the space of logic and isn't structured. We use the masculine to help us make sense and to put things together in a way that makes sense to the mind, but the feminine doesn't come in that way to us first. So, as I was trying to take on all these different ways of speaking and expressing myself and trying to be more concise and quick with my voice and louder, this just only exhausted me. And so, this fluid, feminine way of expression has been forgotten about. It's been undermined and it's not important. The way of expressing or speaking in a way that feels like a dance, right? Or this beautiful gift of the feminine expression, which has the ability to hold space for other women and making them feel safe, has been less desired, or it's not considered as important or powerful. Honestly, if I want to dive into healing work and learn from someone, it's someone who I energetically feel pulled to and know that I can feel safe to be me and safe to really own my emotions and go to those dark spaces that feel a little bit wild and messy. The way of speaking that is fluid and it's moving back and forth has been a type of expression that's not understood by most, because we are used to hearing the voice and one expression that is linear, but the feminine is not linear. And this is why I feel that for most of us women, our voice, our true authentic voice is in hiding. We are in a society that really just sees the voice and speaking from intellect and the mind and having evidence as the only way. And I do find, not all, but most men find it easier to speak in this way because they are usually living in their masculine energy and in their mind. And I love that they do that. But if we are wanting to really learn about the feminine and take on these authentic ways of really reclaiming our feminine power, we have to be looking to women who have reclaimed their voices, who have reclaimed their sexuality as sacred, who have reclaimed their own love for themselves, who are in relationships that are serving their hearts and their desires. And although it is so important that we value these men who are in these spaces of teaching and they're bringing in a new perspective about life and spirituality, it feels strong, it feels powerful. They are bringing clarity to these discussions. It's so important. But we as women cannot miss out on the power of a woman who speaks directly from her womb space. This is something that us as women know. I do believe this. It's an ancient knowing, this ability to learn and be in this space of resonance. It's in hiding. We've forgotten about it. We have to awaken to this power of ours, to realize the power that happens when we speak and share and realize more about ourselves in these beautiful feminine spaces, not by only learning from male teachers. Our learning really happens, our healing happens, our own awakening happens through this resonance. I want to say more our sexual awakening and our feminine awakening happens through this resonance. When we are sitting together, when we're talking with intention from heart to heart with no judgment, when we're being held by another sister, a facilitator who has been where we desire to be, and she speaks with integrity, humbleness, with love, with flow, with connection, with this motherly, nurturing energy. We all have to also honor when women are speaking from their womb and their heart. This has just been so undervalued. This is different, and I feel like we're slowly going there, but I also feel like there's a long way to go. That it's okay, one step at a time, because a woman's voice, when she speaks from her womb, this is not something that tends to be easily favored or may not even sound right to the intellect, to the mind. It's a new way of breathing truth into this world. It's not going from A to B to C, having beginning, middle, and end. The feminine will speak in ways that goes from D to A to C. And I do know that there are many beautiful female teachers really speaking in this way of love, this new way. It feels new, it feels refreshing. I have a few beautiful sisters who are teaching this way and who are really honoring the new divine mother way of leading and moving through this world. It's coming from this space of feeling, of energy, of embodiment. It's different. And yet we are still being triggered by this because our mind might say, I don't get it. Well, this is too woo woo. Or this just, it doesn't make sense. So we shame it, we put it down, we resist it. But our bodies might be saying, there's something here that I'm resonating with. Maybe what I'm saying here, you are feeling a sense of resonance. Our ego might be feeling intimidated by another woman's truth and her expression. But every time we get triggered, it's just an opportunity to look into that trigger, and it's an opportunity to reclaim something that's just been forgotten about within ourselves. I can't stress enough this power of resonance that we feel when a woman shares or she speaks or she holds space, from her ability to connect with not only her heart, but your heart, and not only from her womb, but your womb. This is so special. It's a miracle of the feminine. It's an ancient way of being, expressing, teaching, facilitating. It's not from her mind. It's not from reading a bunch of books or doing 200 hours of a course. This is felt from within her embodiment. There is a knowing and deep wisdom in her voice, and sometimes there are no words to this. The feminine isn't really spoken in words all the time. She might come through as song, poetry, movement, fluidity, breathing, energy, moving. And I feel that this is a new language that we are still learning to adjust to and honor. And it's something that women really have to look to. A lot of the time when I'm in space with my clients, one to one, or even in my group sessions as well, we're speaking with a language that is of resonance. There is a knowing, there is a feeling, there is a connection. It's all intuitive. I can be speaking, which I love to teach, about certain themes and concepts around sexuality, sensuality, reclaiming the feminine, but really this power happens in these temples that we create together. And it happens when we're sharing, and we're sharing from the unknown, which is the womb. We're sharing from our hearts. And I see women in my groups, in the group programs in feminine remembrance, and they're just like, yes, I get it. That's what I feel too. This is ancient work. This is an ancient truth of the Divine Mother who is speaking through love through us always. And this is what I desire for all women to start tuning into, this ancient seed that we are all awakening to together. And it can't be done in a 60-second reel or a few words in an Instagram post. We really rise together and learn and heal and upgrade in our own love frequency and in feeling, in connection, and reclaiming the wisdom of our womb, womb to womb. And remember, your womb and your yoni, they are so receptive. So even if it's not making sense to your mind, there's so much happening within. She is the receiver after all. So it's time that we honor our own truth, our own voice, our own wisdom through our womb space, and start honoring the feminine voice through women. The feminine voice cannot be heard by a man's voice trying to teach us about the feminine. Yes, they have beautiful perspectives on this. Let's honor that. Let's celebrate them for that. But let's really, truly honor the the voice of the yoni and the womb. And when we do, we start to see the magic of another woman's voice and her ancient truth, who is in service to love. Just like we shared the wisdom womb to womb in the ancient times when women would sit together and share their intuitive wisdom about birthing, or other women about sensuality and sexuality, other women about reclaiming the voice through song, other women who were there to really hold space as the great mother, the representation of the mother. We can really, truly learn from one another in this way. This is what I desire for all of us women in this modern world. So please do let me know in the comments what really landed here for you today, what feels activated in your body, in your heart. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support and your likes. And please do put that notification bell on if you haven't already. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to join this beautiful community here so I can continue to show up and share more of this wisdom with you. Thank you so much, gorgeous. My name is Jessica Angeleri. I will see you next time. Bye.